Well, good morning, men. My name is Mastrolonardo, and it really is a privilege for me to be able to share about my testimony here at the Seminary. It really is incredible how fast these 3 years go by. It feels like just yesterday that I was sitting in orientation, taking my first classes, and I can't believe that I'm actually standing here in front of you all, sharing about what God has done in my life. In many ways, my journey coming to TMS almost felt like a big mistake. I grew up in a Christian home, and over the last several years, I grew in my desire to pursue ministry and enroll in a seminary. But if I'm being fully honest, the Master's Seminary wasn't actually my first choice. I didn't come here because I thought it was the best seminary. I actually came here because it was the cheapest seminary, and I'm sure some of you can actually resonate with that. Though I loosely agreed with the doctrinal statement, I didn't fully understand the nuances of everything I was subscribing to. I remember sitting there in orientation and one of the leaders saying, if you don't believe in expository preaching, you should leave. You shouldn't even be here. And I sat there a little stunned because I thought to myself, what is expository preaching? I didn't fully understand everything here. And yet, though I was so theologically ignorant, God was so gracious and merciful to me. Even though I didn't understand everything, God had transformed me in ways that I could never understand or even fathom, right? I think when all of us as men come to the seminary, God uses this time to shape us individually and uniquely in ways that we don't fully understand until we're done. And so for me, I think the greatest lesson that God had taught me while I was here is what a sobering responsibility it is to proclaim his word. Before my time in seminary, I used to look at preaching with such a cavalier attitude, thinking that, giving a good sermon was about being eloquent and persuasive and cultured. But it was during my time here, God used these last 3 years to show me the beautiful simplicity of Scripture. It was during these last 3 years that he's shown me the power of inerrancy, that the Bible really is the very voice of God. He's used the professors here to show me just how precise the Bible is in Greek and Hebrew, in the original languages. He's used the professors here to show me how central and how harmonious the entire biblical storyline is. He used the professors here to show me just how much pastors need to be marked by love and compassion. He used lecture by lecture, and assignment by assignment, and professor by professor to show me the preciousness of his word and what a humbling honor it is to proclaim it. He showed me that the teaching and preaching of Scripture is worth giving up our entire lives, is it not? Men, how humbling is it that God chooses to use crooked sticks to draw straight lines? How amazing is it that he can use flawed sinners like you and me to proclaim his perfect word? We're truly not worthy. And the fact that we are here is such a reminder of God's glory, goodness, and grace in our lives. If I'm being fully honest, I don't know where I'll be after I graduate. I'm in the process of talking with churches and candidating with various groups. And I have no way of knowing if and when any of these conversations will lead to something concrete. But what I do know is this, that wherever God may take us in the future, our first and foremost calling is to honor whatever task he has set before us, to proclaim his word in truth and in accuracy and in holiness and in worship. Wherever you go, may we remember that his word alone has the power to change the human heart. May you remember that whatever gifts in teaching or preaching or leadership that he might give you are not your gifts to own, but they're his gifts to steward. And may we remember that when we get to that final day, when we've poured our hearts in ministry, when we've finished the race, may we be able to say that we did everything for his glory and his glory alone. And as we pursue our ministries today until our final breath, may we do it with one goal, to hear our Creator say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." For that will be enough. Thank you.